The CDC is endorsing the use of a new drug known as Truvada. In fact, it's been around for quite some time. The FDA has approved it. And the use of this particular drug would be to prevent HIV. If you take it daily, it plays a significant role in preventing you from contracting HIV. Let me give you some more details on this. Now, there's a lot of stigma when it comes to using a drug like this, which is why a lot of doctors have been hesitant to prescribe it to some of their patients. And also, if you prescribe it to one of your patients or even recommend it to one of your patients, it seems as though you're trying to send kind of like a negative message to them. You're trying to say that their behavior is risky, that they're acting irresponsibly. So I think that's one of the reasons why physicians have been kind of hesitant to talk about it. But now the CDC is saying, no, we are encouraging doctors to talk to their patients, find out what their sexual behavior is, and if they are having gay or bisexual sex, if they're having unprotected anal sex specifically, that's definitely a problem. If they're not in a monogamous relationship, that's a problem. So you should definitely tell them about this new drug. Now, the at-risk groups include non-monogamous gay and bisexual men who sometimes have unprotected sex, straight men and women who sometimes have unprotected sex with drug users or bi men, and anyone who injects illicit drugs. And so think about that for a second. As a doctor or a physician, you got to pry and you got to ask some pretty tough questions to figure out whether or not your patient is involved in this type of behavior. But if you have any inclination that they are, you should definitely suggest this drug.
I mean, what's amazing about this story, and enough with the stigma, like just let's save lives for the love of God. And what's amazing about this drug to me is a guy who went to college from 85 to 89, when, as I've said 100 times, the message was pretty clear, like, go ahead, you're in college, it's great, meet a girl, have sex, you'll die though, kill her. And then like, oh, you can have a condom, but you'll still probably die. So like AIDS, the terror was so real. And that was for straight people. The terror for gay men was real and ever present, watching your friends die. And now to have a drug that no one's talking about that can prevent it. I mean, that's literally what you dreamed of then. Like maybe there'll just be a drug. We take a pill every day and then we don't have to worry about it.
Covered by insurance, right? Not that expensive.
Amazing. Oh, how great will that be? It's here, and like now we're like,
Or just disinterested.
Disinterested. No, I know they're not trying to cover it up, but the fact that there wasn't just this joyous celebration that this drug is here.
I have a hypothesis about that, though. So I think that the stigma reason given in several articles definitely makes sense, but I think there's another side of this as well. I know that look, I am very skeptical of pharmaceutical companies, and I'm skeptical of the idea or against the idea that I should take a specific drug every single day, right, if I don't absolutely need it. So by the way, everyone can obviously get HIV. If you're having anal sex, you're much more likely to contract it. In fact, studies indicate that if you're having anal sex, it is 18 times higher risk of contracting the virus than from vaginal sex, right? But the idea of, oh, I might get HIV, so let me take a drug every single day for the rest of my life, I think that makes people uncomfortable.
Well, or just that's not how, people don't do preventive medicine. They don't even eat healthy.
That's true, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, we did a story 2 days ago about how in the prison system in California they're considering passing out condoms. Maybe they should pass out some of these pills if they're worried about FTD infections.
In prison system in California, they're considering passing out condoms?
Yeah, I think there's one where they already do it.
But I do think condoms.
Yes, exactly. Well, they're worried about inspiring people to break the law and all that. But I think the reason that we're not, that you didn't see, front page news about like, oh my God, they have this thing that has a high likelihood of stopping you from contracting it is that culturally we've changed a lot since then.
Yeah.
Back then when we were involved in a Cold War, we were very focused on what was going on internally to the US, very focused on the morals of sexuality and everything like that. But now we're in a time of war, we're worried about terrorism, and if we're worried about diseases, it's the diseases foreigners are bringing back from China and from Africa. It's SARS and it's MERS and it's all these foreign things. We don't think about so much what we're doing here.
I think there's also part of it is that we did such a really good job in the mid to late 90s changing behaviors, which saw a significant reduction in HIV infections. Primarily, gay men were being much more careful and using protection much more. And then, as it became possible to live with this terrible disease and survive it, there naturally was and we've read plenty of stories about this, a sort of it's not that bad, it's not the death sentence we thought it was, and so some of the protective mechanisms taken were withdrawn.
Yeah.
So there were less, and we saw a little uptake here in the 21st century of it. And so I suspect also to some extent there was a thought, this will just the best thing to do is still to be safe, but now this drug would tell people, do it the hell ever you want. I suspect that was some of the fear. But the bottom line is it's a medical breakthrough, it's a great thing,
Yeah.
and it has the potential of saving lives, and that's wonderful.